It was back to the picket line today for striking Bombardier workers. The CLE board agrees to amend its controversial open bar policy. And more support for an inquiry into missing and murdered Aboriginal women. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. It has been 24 hours since striking Bombardier workers rejected the company's final offer, and both sides are surprisingly quiet.
Bombardier officials have declined requests for an interview, and Unifor leaders are carrying on the picket line as usual. Neither side has given any clear indication as to what their next move may be. With the school year now approaching, parents on the picket line are getting a boost from their Unifor colleagues. Phil Darlington explains.
Although Bombardier officials are not doing interviews, plant manager Aaron Rivers issued a statement in response to the striking workers voting 81% against the company offer. He says they're obviously disappointed by the results, and he thanked the workers who voted in favor. Rivers says they're now focusing on fulfilling their railcar contracts and making the tough necessary decisions. Union President Dominic Pasqualino says he's not sure what exactly that means.
I have no idea what they're planning. I hope that what they are planning is that we go back to the bargaining table and treat us reasonably and fairly.
Pasqualino says many of the members have found part-time work elsewhere, some for minimum wage. He does not believe that this is the best course, but some may have no choice.
But that's what they have to do to feed their families. And I think that some of these people are saying, you know what, I've got family responsibilities. I'd rather not move from Thunder Bay, and they'd like to go back to work.
Fortunately, the families who are being hit with the loss of income due to the strike will be getting some help. Unifor Local 229 has stepped up to the plate and are helping to get strike-affected children ready for school.
We've been able to so far raise about $4,500 to start offering some school supplies for the families that are going back to school. We know very, very expensive is.
Local 229 is also hosting a barbecue to show their support and raise spirits on the picket line. It is not the first donation the union has seen since the strike began 6 weeks ago, and Pasqualino is very grateful.
We understood that if the strike drags on, that families would be affected, and there are other unions that are willing to help, and we're very, very thankful for that.
Phil Darlington, TBT News.
Some new rules are now in place at the Canadian Lakehead exhibition. The CLE's open bar for its board of directors has been the source of plenty of criticism and controversy over the past year, and the board's president wants to clarify what's been going on. Danny Moses says the CLE is on private land, but they have still always followed the rules and regulations of the Liquor Licensing Board. But changes were approved at last night's meeting. All of the CLE's directors will now have to turn in their keys to the bar and will instead have to sign in to access the boardroom after meetings. He says he doesn't understand what all the fuss is about, and he believes the bar is being used as a political tool.
The boardroom or hospitality room is only used by board members after scheduled meetings and complies with the LCBO rules and regulations. I mean, let the people know exactly what we're doing. We're not doing nothing wrong. We're not having binge drinking here or anything like that. We just socialize after the meeting, have a couple of drinks, and leave.
Mose again wants to say that they're not doing anything wrong by socializing after their meetings, and he says, contrary to popular belief, the organization does not receive any taxpayer money.
Residents on the 200 block of County Boulevard had an interesting visitor this morning. A 260-pound black bear wandered onto their street, climbed up into a tree, forcing City Police and the Ministry of Natural Resources to take action. Rochelle Sufi has the story.
City Police and MNR responded to the bear sighting on County Boulevard after residents spotted the bear in a tree. Officers set up a perimeter around the 200 block of the street. Then the bear was tranquilized several times. And then it was a waiting game for the bear to fall off the tree. Police were urging members of the media and neighbors to stay back, as the bear was not fully asleep yet and could get aggressive.
Everybody just have an escape plan in case this bear does end up not taken to it, you know what I'm saying?
After about an hour and more tranquilizers, the bear was sound asleep.
Best case scenario happened today is what we wanted, is the bear is stuck in a tree, and we were able to contain it in the tree and M&R came and did their thing.
M&R officials say the bear was likely lured into this neighborhood because of a nearby backyard that had fallen apples. He added the garbage left overnight on the street could have been another factor. A resident on the street, Rick Tomiak, says he was not scared or even alarmed. There was a bear just meters away from his house, but he says it is a safety concern.
Well, I think along with the Federation Anglers and Hunters in the City of Thunder Bay councillors should be talking about opening up a bear hunt in the city limits, just like they have the deer hunt.
The M&R says this 260-pound male bear will be transported out of city limits and into the bush. Rochelle Sufi, TBT News.
Business owners and residents near St. Paul Street are expressing shock at the latest wave of vandalism along the quiet route. This week, 4 trees on the street were torn off at the stump, and it doesn't look like an accident. The trees are located on the sidewalk, which runs along the side of St. Paul, which has metered parking. Vice Chair of the Waterfront BIA, Jim Camuzzi, says vandalism and garbage are a common sight on weekend mornings, but this incident was over the top, and he thinks it would have taken a vehicle or a group of people to inflict this level of destruction.
Unfortunately, but somebody's taken down our trees on St. Paul Street, and as you are well aware, in the last couple of years, the City of Thunder Bay was kind enough to really regenerate our street and really brought new life to our short little street of St. Paul Street. And we have new shops and everything open up in the area, and it's disappointing to see that some people late night or early morning are careless enough to take away our beauty.
Camuzzi says each of the 4 trees will cost up to $900 apiece to replace.
A Thunder Bay building owner has been hit with a hefty fine for a fire code infraction. Following a complaint made this spring, city fire rescue officials determined the Macker Avenue building smoke alarm system was not being tested and maintained. That's led to a fine of $3,000. Fines for such infractions against individual owners can range from $235 up to $50,000. Corporations could be fined up to $100,000.
An embarrassing typo on a prominent sign at Marina Park has now been fixed. The sign celebrates the successful completion of Prince Arthur's Landing, but it went viral on social media after someone noticed the sign credits the citizens of Thunder of Bay. Some local online discussion groups were having a field day making fun of the mistake. Officials with the city's Corporate Strategic Services Division, which produced the sign, replaced the text on it earlier this week. It now correctly credits the citizens of Thunder Bay.
The Boys and Girls Club of Thunder Bay held its 24th annual open house today. The kids got to enjoy bouncy castles and rock wall climbing. But it's also a time for those who support the club to come and see what their donations really do. Mike Albanese reports.
Our belief is that it takes a village to raise a child. And by a village, I mean just a number of different people, different funders. And we are truly blessed here to have great people.
That was Albert Aiello, Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club, and he truly means it when he says it takes a village. Lucky for him, he's got just that. Countless supporters came to this year's open house to see where their funds help these kids. Dominion Motors raised over $41,000 towards the club this year through their Power of the Purse program.
We provide their breakfast program, and there's several children throughout the city that a lot of them, it's their only meal of the day. They go to school without having breakfast, and so it's something that's very near and dear to our heart.
Once these kids eat their breakfast, they need somewhere to go burn that energy off. Thanks to Nashville Predator Carter Hutton, they can. Hutton donated all the proceeds from his goalie school to the club this year to make sure the gym floor, amongst other things, gets repaired.
The Boys and Girls Club for me was just a great organization, and I think the main contribution is going to go to redoing the gym floor for the kids. But after reviewing some of the plans and just the way they run the Boys and Girls Club here and feeding kids, and a lot of it keeps kids out of trouble and stuff like that. Something I'm a big fan of helping kids out, so I think that's the reason why I stuck with the Boys and Girls Club.
One of the key fund providers for the club is the Trillium Foundation. That support has provided new paint jobs, 52 windows, and 5 sets of doors. They've helped replace furnaces, flooring, improved the kitchen, and given them a lighting upgrade. This time around, Trillium is providing $76,000.
One, it's such a big impact to the community. There's a lot of people that are involved with the Boys and Girls Club, but most importantly, it's directed towards children that can have an organization provide a bit of leadership, a safe environment for them to play and to grow.
A young girl named Emma Hlanty also sold loom bracelets and donated the $164 she raised to the club. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
40 films from northwestern Ontario and around the world will be featured in the 10th anniversary Bay Street Film Festival, which is being held next week. Short films, documentaries, and features from emerging and established filmmakers will be showcased at the film festival, hosted at the Finlandia Hall. Marketing coordinator Betty Karpik says they're very pleased to offer 16 films from independent filmmakers from Thunder Bay, and this year they've added something exciting to the festival.
The pre-registered filmmakers have an opportunity to win $2,000 in cash and $5,000 in services from Flash Frame Film and Video Network, which is a local group in Thunder Bay. We do have the premiere of the film Under the Pearl Moon by Thunder Bay artist Eleanor Albanese, so we're quite excited about that. It's her first film. And we also are premiering a film called The Scratch by Diane Brothers, who's also a local filmmaker.
The festival runs from September 3rd to the 7th. Showings will take place at the Finlandia Hall above the Hoyto. Now, festival passes are $25 a piece. Daily tickets are $8 per session, but Karpik says you can also pay whatever you can afford.
Theater goers with a thirst for the dramatic look no further than the latest production at the Paramount Theatre. The play, called Cherry Docks, is set to hit the stage starting tomorrow. It explores the depths of intolerance and human rage, and this explosive drama is not for the faint of heart.
What kind of a name is HERC? It stands for Wholly Useful Racial Cleansing. It's a pun.
When a young neo-Nazi played by Andrew Paulson is arrested for the brutal killing of an immigrant on the streets of Toronto, he's given a court-appointed Jewish lawyer played by Chisholm Poitier. The pair are forced to work through their own differences while they attempt to craft a suitable defense. The plot lives mainly in the extremes of human emotion, but the actors and directors say it's nothing for audiences to be afraid of.
The purpose of art and theater is that you do present these situations that are kind of you know, almost like archetypes, you know, like, so they do have to be a little bit extreme because it has to be entertaining or thought-provoking or whatever. You have to be heightened and elevated and extreme to get a message across, I think.
What the play explores is how youth become indoctrinated. How do you become racist? How do you get to the place where you don't like the other? And we know that's a strong issue that plays out here in Thunder Bay and in lots of parts of northwestern Ontario. So those are the kinds of issues that the thing digs into.
Cherry Docks debuts tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock at the Paramount Theatre with 4 more shows after that. Tickets are available